Hello everybody, I'm Spegtacular, the Silverstacular. It's freezing outside in Florida right now, so I think I'm going to go ahead and go get warm inside of this coin shop right now, talk to the owner, and just kind of see what's going on in the world, and maybe he can tell us some cool stuff about coins, because I got that kind of time on my hands today to find out what's going on at the local coin shop. Love going in there. Let's go in and talk to Coin Guy. All right, I'm here in Spring Hill, Florida at Coin Guy's shop. Coin Guy, it's freezing outside. I decided to come in and get warm with your
sunny Florida
information.
Today is a cold day, and I like winter up in New York. I had to run away from my grandson's soccer game this morning. It was freezing, and I had 4 layers of clothes on.
4 layers.
4 layers. These little 5-year-olds are out there playing, and I was out there about 20 minutes with them. And the cold was cutting through me.
It was too much.
I had a hat on, and I don't know.
I don't even know if you're Coin Guy. I came to see the normal shirt. I mean, you got it covered up right now. Oh, he's the Coin Guy. You want to buy a watch?
Yeah.
Well, hello everybody. I seek to educate and entertain through my journey of collecting coins and stacking precious metals. I encourage you to subscribe, and please stay with me on this journey. I am Spegtacular, the Silverstacular. All right, listen, it's too cold for me to be outside today. Can I come in and get some advice from you, talk to you about what's going on? I mean, whatever you want to talk about. If you want to talk about coins or precious metals, that's what I'm here for.
It's been a busy day. It's been a very busy day. I haven't caught up. I bought a bunch of stuff yesterday. I'm still putting it up. I got a little gold I picked up.
What kind of gold did you pick up?
I got a lot of silver we bought this week.
Silver took a little shellacking, right?
It took...
Is that right? Shellacking?
Shellacking is the right word, because it dropped, between the 26th and the 28th yesterday. I'm looking at 23.93, went down as low as 22.29. That looks like $1.70 to me.
Yeah.
And I bought like 3 monster boxes.
And I think it just came up almost $1, a week prior to this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers were pretty high. I don't mind sitting on them. I dropped my prices some, but you know what? I was watching another one of these talking heads on the business channel, and this guy mentioned the same phrase that Jamie Dimon mentioned 2 weeks ago: hyperinflation. I don't want to hear that word. This is hyperinflation. Germany in the early 20s, I don't want to hear that, not in America. But they mentioned hyperinflation, and these guys were big about saving the silver. They said the long run silver will be better than gold percentage-wise, because it's industrial.
Yeah.
Copper and silver heavily used in industry, they said. And they said that's the thing to keep. This drop, I believe this is orchestrated. I really believe it's orchestrated. The big boys. This is like another fundraiser for some grandkids' trust fund.
Yeah.
If you've watched the news recently, they bring forward certain people in positions of power, how they have all this inside information, supposedly, or they don't have it, and they'll hit the stock market 8 times in a row. They make all these millions.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something to that.
It's crazy. It's manipulation for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like people go like, oh, that's impossible. You can't manipulate that kind of stuff. But man, you see all these lawsuits all the time of people that are in power manipulating all kinds of stock prices.
Exactly. And they know what legislation's before them.
Yep.
So it's like, I must have talked in my sleep if a husband is, going to be buying some stock. It's like, buy this or buy that, because they know. I believe that's very possible. Very possible.
Okay, let's just get a little bit political just for a second. I got a curious. I know. Everybody's going to start tuning out right now, but senators, congressmen and women being able to trade stocks, is that a good idea?
No. I think that they should have to do like a president does, where their stock has to be in some kind of a trust or in some kind of where they can't control it, for that very reason.
I think it's totally wild that they try to justify this as acceptable, but what
funny.
can we do?
It's like some of them that, it's like with the Olympics they had back in China 15 years ago, whenever it was, and certain people in power were boycotting it until this person's husband became part of a group of people running the taxis. Yeah. Then they stepped back from everything.
I want to talk about a little bit more stuff going on in the world. 2 words. Let's talk about platinum and let's talk about Russia.
Okay.
I hear that Russia is like a gigantic producer of the world's platinum. So if there's any kind of issues going on, let's say Russia has some kind of issue right now, maybe with Ukraine, I don't know. Would that, you think, cause an issue with platinum and maybe?
I don't understand why platinum, and not politically, but I don't understand why platinum is so cheap to begin with. Platinum is like 15 times rarer than gold. And meanwhile, platinum is selling at barely $1,000, give or take. I mean, it took a shellacking. I just don't understand why it's so cheap. And as far as Russia's concerned, you know what's going to happen there. I talked about that 6 months ago. When you have a weakness in a government, those people who are the bullies are going to try and take advantage of it. And I'm fearful for my grandchildren, and everybody should be. No matter what party he is, it's the individual that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Weakness is a danger. And the Olympics, they got, 100 cases already? And it doesn't start for another week. I don't know.
Crazy.
Anyway.
Well, you mentioned platinum being cheaper than gold, but I tell you what, try to buy some platinum with decent premiums. You can't do it.
Try and get platinum. I bought a whole bunch of stuff yesterday, came in. There was a half-ounce platinum, certified platinum coin. I kept it.
Yeah, you don't even sell it.
I'm going to sell it. I've kept it.
Yeah.
You don't see platinum. I don't think I see, in a good year, I don't see 5 ounces, but I'm not a bullion dealer. So I don't see 5 ounces of platinum in a year.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. This came in, but there was a few ounces of gold mixed in there, all different sizes. But you don't see platinum. And I don't understand why platinum is so cheap. And when you look at some of these countries that have a lot of platinum, well, the Russians have a lot of diamonds. I've heard the stories where they've got buildings full of diamonds. That goes back to the old gulag where everybody had to cut diamonds or mine diamonds because you're in jail. What else you got to do? Yep. You want to eat, you got to cut diamonds.
It's your job.
And they've got a lot of that stuff that goes way back. Diamonds not really, for everything I've read and heard, diamonds not really that rare. There's a lot of diamonds. It's just controlled. Mm-hmm. It's like chips, computer chips are controlled. But you've got a couple of countries. If Taiwan falls into the hands of the evil people from the East, they're going to control 80% of the world's chips. That's not a good thing. Not a good thing.
We got to start making those things over here.
Amen. Just like we, got to do our own meds. Got to make our own medicines. We have to do that.
I don't know why we're not.
I mean, it's just a shame.
Listen, you got some gold in here. I call for gold once in a while. I talk to Nathan trying to say, hey, you got any gold? You actually have some. Can you show me some of the stuff you got?
Sure.
I'm a big fan of gold.
Interesting gold.
And silver, of course. And
this
coins.
piece Nathan has just looked up. That's what it goes for. It's 1/10 of an ounce.
Can I touch it?
Sure. It's a 1/10 Cougaran.
There's the guy with the beard.
Now here's a 1/10 maple. Don't keep that. I can't keep tenths.
It's pretty. Proof. You don't see a lot of proof Krugerrands out there.
This I find is interesting. That has got to be the smallest coin the Canadians could get away with.
I've seen this.
A 50-cent maple.
It's a 1 grammer?
Yep.
Tiny, huh? It looks big on my screen, but I tell you what, in person,
it's got a monetary value of 50 cents.
It's cool looking, though. I mean, if you can actually see it. Oh, look, now it's an ounce when I zoom in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's a little guy. Look at that compared to the 10th. The 10ths are already kind of small. Jeez.
Yeah, but see, this is a proof.
Yeah, it's
proof
nice.
70.
It is nice.
I mean, some coins, this I just picked up recently. This is another one of those wow coins.
Oh, the new Canadian. Man, I love the way the Canadians look, guy. It's just such a pretty coin.
You get the early, especially from around 1989 to 97, the early...
German coin, huh? What's the story here? Anything
That's a metal.
Oh, it's just okay, a metal.
Yeah. I'm basically selling that for melt.
That's kind of cool. So it's 90% gold.
Mm-hmm. Actual, and then I break it down. We find it, and that's the breakdown value. That's like $540 in gold.
That's cool.
It's 30% of an ounce.
I can't read it, but it's cool. If I was German, I would be all over it.
This is a hard coin.
PCGS MS70. Oh, a 96 Gold Eagle, huh?
Yeah.
Shoo-wee.
I had that 1990 quarter-ounce gold that I gave to a gave to a heritage to put in. I didn't do too well on that. I was better off selling that thing on my own.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did you do that? You did the fun show over there in Orlando?
Yeah. Well, it sold before that, but I put it up for auction, and I learned a lesson from it. I won't, in certain areas, modern gold, they made more money than I did, because when you look at the 20% they get, and it's not always to your advantage, you got to really look. I could have sold that coin before I gave it in for more money than I'm getting anyway. Maybe it was greed, but Gray Sheeted is 7,000, and now Gray Sheet dropped to 5,600. Maybe they got that number after they saw my coin only go for like 6,200 with the 20%. Only went for like 5,300.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
But, you know, you've got to figure out where it's going. Now, this is another one of those coins. This coin has got numbers like $3,100. It's a rare coin. He only made $39,000 that year.
It's nice.
But it's an early half ounce, and you live and learn.
I didn't get to ask you. I haven't seen you in a little while, but the fun show, the Florida United Numismatist show, big show in Orlando.
Yep.
You went there. I went there. We saw each other at the beginning, and then we just went on our own way.
I didn't stay long because of, you know, my particular, not my needs, but I had COVID once, and I cannot take a chance of getting it again. And when you look at it, a room, there was a lot of people there. I mean, you know, we were outside with a crowd, and I thought it was a great amount of people showed up. There had to be 2,000 people in that room, because I don't know what was it, 600, 700 dealers?
There's a lot.
Plus their helpers. That's 1,400 people, give or take.
Yeah.
I know I went upstairs to look in on Heritage. I counted 40 employees in that room. 40 employees. And about 10 downstairs at the tables.
Yeah.
Heritage sent 50 people. Wow.
It's a lot.
But there's so many people there. And we only stayed for a couple of hours. I got some insight on the Civil War tokens, because I wanted to give in a bunch to be certified. And then I found out more about them, what they went for minimums, and I underestimated their value. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to grade them, because I know what they're going for, and I know their values. And to be honest with you, I was sending in 12. I've sold 7 of the 12 already. I'd probably still be waiting for them to come back now. Since the video, I've sold 7 of those 12. I mean, anywhere between $100 and $225. They sell themselves. The Civil War tokens really, we sold well over 100 of them, and you know, you'll hear more about that. But it was good. Then I bought a bunch of ancients. This one guy I like the ancients. You know, it's the idea of who held this in your hand before you.
Yeah.
I thought it was just so cool. I picked up Greek ancients, Romans, and Byzantine. Actually, I got a tray of that stuff.
Yeah, show me. Did anybody recognize you from the fun show?
Right when we got there, there was a guy outside. As I walked in, this guy ran toward me. I didn't know whether to reach. Well, I didn't have my gun with me, but I'm wondering, you know,
does he like you or not like you?
Yeah, right.
Is he a fan?
I hope he's a fan and not a political enemy or something.
You never know. These are the ancients.
Yeah.
I like this stuff.
Remember, my brother's running for governor.
Where's that at again?
Pennsylvania. I watched him in the debate the other day. I wish him all the luck in the world, but you know, when you pick my brother, you're going to get the truth. He's not the politician who's going to take all sides. You're going to get what he is, what he stands for.
Yeah.
He did really good. I watched him on TV. He was up against 15 other people, and he calls them the way he sees them. John Ventry.
Some people can't handle that, man. They can't handle the honest truth, unfortunately.
Well, he needs signatures. I think at the middle of next month, you got to get a certain amount of signatures. But like you said, it's like anything else. The media only covers a certain darlings, and there's only a handful of them that are covered.
Yeah. That's cool
but
stuff,
this
guys.
is stuff I picked up. I spent about a dozen hours, and the guy who sold them to me gave me some insights. But you've got to put everything up in holders. You've got to research. You've got to find diagnostics. I think I'm 90% right on who they all are.
What's up here, man? This one's broken.
Yeah, well, they were sort of like almost like the carbs from Spain. They made them fit the right size. They got to be too heavy. They cut them down. Byzantine Empire, Roman Empire, Greek Empire, Alexander the Great. I had a Philip II, who was the father of Alexander. That went the first days.
Are you telling me they didn't have some kind of fancy modern press where these things were just booming a machine over and over?
There was no machinery. It's a guy holding them. They heated them. They put them. Guy would hold them on tongs, probably the blacksmith, and then they would put a die in it. Another guy would hit it. It's like in the movies. It was really like an assembly line, and they bang them out, bang them out. Roman coins, when a new emperor came in, they gathered up all the coins of his predecessor, especially if he had him assassinated, and they would throw everything in a pot and melt it. And if they needed a little more, in went a couple of horseshoes, a broken blade, or whatever, and they just made some more money.
That's cool.
And he wanted his face on everything.
That's neat, huh?
I find it so interesting. You're holding these coins, and they're thousands of years old, and some of them are, some of them are a little rough, but look at the size of that coin, and it's...
Well, we say a little rough, but look when they were actually created. I mean,
First century.
Goodness. Unbelievable.
I should look that good in 2,000 years.
You will. You gonna have your body frozen?
No.
Like Disney?
No. My granddaughter turned 10 the other day, and I told her, now you're in double digits. 89 years from now before you get to triple digits. I hope Pop-Pop's there for that.
The hard time tokens did not sell?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
I guess it doesn't have the glamour or the romanticism of the Civil War. Nothing like a Civil War. Brother against brother.
To be romantic?
Yeah. What they have, to catch your eye or whatever.
I thought that the tokens were really special.
They are. And I get people buy them all the time.
After we made our video, I made a special video of the ones that you sold me just
I saw
because you saw the history?
Yeah.
Wasn't that great?
It was very good. I
Let me see
enjoyed
those real
that.
quick. Can I see those? Can you bring them out?
I mean,
I was just want to see which ones you have here. I mean, like, just keep them in the store because little by little I'll come back in and I'll grab some of them.
People buying them. I got one wholesaler that never made it back. He wanted 100 of them. I could sell 100 of them for...
I just think it's neat to use like the internet and go back and search these out and find information about them. There was one that I found. The one that I bought from you,
With the fish?
not the fish.
The fish, I had 4 phone calls out.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's okay.
It was the more expensive one, the Hamilton, Ohio, the rare one that was in the...
Oh, yeah, the one with the 8.9 rarity?
So there was one on eBay, right? And there's not a whole lot of those out there, but there was one on eBay for sale. And man, I quietly went in there and started putting my bids in. And at the last, minute, somebody ended up jacking the price like $250 and ended up beating me. But I thought I was going to get that one. And I was excited to get like kind of the monopoly on that because it's kind of rare,
Mm-hmm.
But
there's quite a few of them. I sold the one with the ironclad.
Oh, the monitor one?
Yeah, those. Yeah. I sold the other one the other day. A guy went to Disney, guy from California. I had 3 people this week. Who went to Disney first and then come to see me.
That's kind of cool, right?
And Jesse Waters gets his own show.
You got your own show on YouTube.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. You're right.
So,
but he came in and he loved it. He took that too. He bought a CC and he took that.
Can I see these little monitors?
The little monitor.
Well, they're cheaper than that one was.
Oh, much cheaper.
More affordable here.
It's the only 2 I got left.
And the monitor is just like the ship, right?
Yeah, that was the name of the ship.
I don't know how I'm going to get this out, guy.
The monitor and the Merrimack.
These coin things stress me out. Okay.
Well, I don't know if it was the first battle of the ironclads, but it was certainly advertised as.
There we go. That's cool stuff. These are actual Civil War tokens.
It's interesting the feedback you get after you put it up. The patriotic tokens do not sell as well. Like this wholesaler wants a bunch of them. And I'll sell 100 patriotics for $2,000, $20 each.
Yeah.
But 100 randoms, whatever I put together, I can get 100 together. But the ones that are from individual states or the store tokens, they sell much better. Places like West Virginia are gone. I only had one from Maine. Some of them, like Illinois and places like that, I've only got 2 or 3. The ones I had the most of were Ohio, New York, and Michigan. But they're selling out. The expensive ones sell first. The higher grade, the higher, more expensive ones sell.
Yeah.
But we've sold over 100 of them. We had good feedback. People come in all the time, look at them, never seen them. When I do our coin club is going to have its show, the West Hernando Coin Club. And when they have our show on the 19th of February, I'm going to put these up front. This is what I'm going to show the most of. I'm going to put them out there. A lot of people, I've never seen this many at one time.
No, I think
You
they're cool.
never see them.
I think it's kind of like one of those things where, you know, it's exonomia, so it's a little bit more hidden as far as the information goes compared to like a Morgan dollar or something
And
like
the
that.
history, and I think the history is intriguing.
That's awesome.
And when you read them, like you did that research on them, which was great. The one you got, the guy was a coin dealer. I should have grabbed that one. I should have kept that.
What was that?
That should've
ML
been
Marshall,
my-
right? That.
Yeah, the one.
Well, that was the
should've been
fish
my
one.
Curio, yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was few people wanted it because they were anglers, they were fishermen. But I got like 4 orders, 4 calls about the fish one. You know, but that's the way it is.
That's the way it goes.
But it was pretty cool. I get a lot, like I said, I get a number of phone calls of people who specifically wanted the West Virginia or wherever it may have been. But I got another interesting thing I had mentioned before. This is my personal, I forgot one of them at the home. I have one from Australia.
I saw this laying here. I didn't want to mention it.
Now, these are nuggets that I've accumulated over the last dozen years from people who sell them to me. They have grandparents who were panning and whatever. Look at the size of this nugget. Now, this is
ridiculous.
Alaskan.
Yeah.
Look at the size. Obviously, they had to lay this down. It got flattened there when they put this on because it's already got.
Guy, that's really cool.
This is outrageous. It looks like an arrowhead.
You want to establish, too, that this is not stuff for sale.
No, this isn't for sale. This is, I'm just showing my stuff.
What if somebody calls you, though, and they make the prices right?
This is 18. This is 18.8 pennyweights. There's 20 pennyweights to the ounce, so this is 90% of an ounce.
That's the
And their
biggest...
purity is usually about 23%, 23 carat. But when they get to be any of this size, see, because I've picked up gold dust in the past and tiny granular stuff, I sell that off. But any of this size is always resellable. I mean, this is the stuff that they put loops on, and I think there's another one here.
I would buy this stuff right now, guy. This is cool. Can I please just touch that one?
Now
Hold
look
it.
at the difference of them. Yeah. Now look at the California one.
Oh, man, this is so cool.
It's more flaky. I think some of them, the
Which one's
Alaska is
California?
very, this one here. That's California. That's Alaska. This is North Carolina.
You notice that
And this is river gold.
even with like coinage, like coins from different countries, man, the color is a lot of times different.
Well, you'll see that if you collect the Lonigan gold, it's a richer gold from the 1830s. Even if you take a constitutional gold, pre-Civil War gold, a lot of times it won't pass the machine, the gold machine.
Really?
Either the purity isn't quite there because I guess the assay wasn't exactly on, and the colors don't look right, but it's a richer color. The stuff from the 1840s, especially the 1840s, is you got to give it a little. You got to give it a little sin or whatever you want to call it.
God, there'd be no way you'd sell this thing.
Hey, this one's already got this one. Somebody obviously wore that
This is
back in
Alaska.
1898. He was at that's the first nugget he got. So he put a loop on it and he wore it. Then he went to the courthouse and he became a senator. And the millions, he made more money at being a senator than he did being a gold panner. I don't want to go there. Okay.
Guy, I don't know, man. This might be cooler to me than some coins are right now. These nuggets right here. Oh, this one right here.
I was looking at this one myself. I might just start wearing this one. This one is
You
pretty
should.
cool.
You should.
You feel that. That's a hunk. This is almost an ounce of gold.
This one right here is surprisingly deceptive, like the weight on it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
gold is very dense. And from what I've always heard, the rule of thumb on on this, especially the bigger stuff. And actually, any of this is bigger stuff. It's usually like spot and 50%. And something like this might even be more because it's just so big. I mean, is this worth $3,000? Probably is to somebody. You're looking at probably 1,700, 16, 15 gold. There's a lot of gold there.
See this one right here? I just think it's so cool. But this isn't for sale. This is just natural stuff, man. This is like when the world was created. You know what I mean? Like this is just flowing
out
through.
Of that volcano or whatever.
You know, gold is outer worldly, right? Like we didn't make it here on Earth. It came from somewhere else.
And I've mentioned it before. I always found it so interesting about, it's like that one commercial where the devil is speaking or whatever, and he talks about it's been around for millennial, and I've always counted on gold. I mean, gold has always been attracted to people from all over the world throughout history for 5,000 years. Bitcoin? I watched a guy talking about Bitcoin the other day. Here I go.
Here you go.
And he calls it, what did he call it? He called it digital tulips.
Digital tulips.
Digital tulips. And if you don't know what that means, they're back in the late 1600s. They had the tulip mania up in Holland, in Amsterdam, where people were selling estates, 100 acres of gold, 100 acres of land to get a certain tulip bulb for a course of a color. And it was insanity for about a decade. People were spending maybe the equivalent of $1 million on a tulip bulb. And then at the end of 10 years, it just suddenly stopped because it got so expensive. It just got to be insanity.
Yeah.
That's what they call, and some people believe it's digital tulips. And these are people who, know more than I do about this.
Yeah.
And they're business people, they're tech people.
It's digital something. I had one guy that commented saying that his taxes right now are a nightmare because of the crypto that he bought and sold. You have Biden, I guess, supposed to make some executive order in February about crypto. The government might be trying to use it in some way, and that caused a lot of the prices to kind of...
He's going to make an executive order, Biden?
Yeah, that's some of the news right now.
Did his son take any payment for his art in Bitcoin?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't want to go there, but you never know.
But why is the government getting involved in something they're not supposed to get involved in, right?
Well, until it's in their wheelhouse or it's in their favor.
Yeah.
I don't try. That's why I really believe members of Congress and stuff, presidents, or I don't believe presidents are allowed to deal in the stock market. They're not allowed to make their own decisions. I think all that has to be put in trust.
Right.
I think it should be for congressmen. I don't mean at the small levels, if I'm going to sit on the board of Spring Hill or something, but when you're exercising government policy,
right, you
can't be in two fields at one time.
Well,
it's you influence it too much.
I remember seeing the head guy at Facebook sitting down in front of senators, and those senators have information prior to going in there what they're going to say to these guys, whether they're going to hammer them or not. You know what I mean? So they already know how this conversation is going to go, right?
Exactly.
And so they know, oh man, I'm going to hammer this Facebook guy. I'm going to short the stock, because it's probably going to come down after this hammering.
It's just like when you see a politician reading off a sheet of the person he's going to ask the next question. He already knows what they're going to ask him.
Yeah.
I mean, does that really mean you can think on your feet or talk on your feet?
Yeah.
It's just a sad situation. It's just crazy.
I got another question. This kind of goes back to something you just mentioned, and I'm going to let you answer it on your own. The question was, okay, we lose the internet, right? Internet's gone. How are we going to know the price of gold?
I guess it would have to be by what demand is out there. What is a gallon of gas going to be worth? Are we talking just before somebody attacks us, we lose the internet?
I don't know. Does he be said?
Well, look in the world now. The first, I've never went to military college, but I know that when you're ready to attack an enemy, the first thing you do is you take out communications and you take out the internet. That's the first thing you do. So you have some anarchy.
Yeah.
And then it's whatever the market would bear.
Right.
Is a gold nugget, is this going to get me a tank of gas? I think any day, no matter what.
Yeah.
But if you go to somebody with Bitcoin, what? This to me is a tangible asset.
Yes.
It's in my hand.
It is.
It's me, I'm computer illiterate, so maybe that's part of my inability to accept the Bitcoin. But I'm a person for gold, and I can't keep gold in the store. I'll tell you the truth. You saw those bits and pieces there. I already sold a few today. I sold half of what I bought already.
You sold some as soon as I came in originally here. Yeah.
I mean, it's just that how fast it goes. Silver, I've got plenty of. I got a lot, and I don't mind sitting on it. And even though you've seen recently the price of silver drop the way it did, doesn't bother me. I don't think the premiums are dropping with it. And it's just a matter of not if, but when. And things are coming together in the world that are not fun, not happy.
Not fun. Back to the internet thing real quick. You have, like you mentioned in the past, gold has been valuable across different nations, and they just knew its value. I think it would go back to something like that. I mean, it has intrinsic value, it has natural beauty, luster, value behind gold. I think that it has just this innate ability to be valuable, and nations are going to have the thought process of what it's worth there, even without the internet.
I believe that in this form. I wouldn't want to take a 1933, gold $20 gold piece and say, hey, this is worth $10 million.
Well,
I want all your cars. It ain't going to work like that.
The numismatic value might kind of disappear a little bit, right?
Very much so. And that's when I have people come in and say, hey, I have this. What's it worth to you? I had a person recently offer me they offered me a 1796, so I think it was a 1797 50-cent piece. It was, I believe he said it was in a fine. This is a $30,000 coin, $35,000 coin. PCGS certified. I'm interested in that coin for my personal self. Even though I have sold part of my own personal collection, that early 1700 busted stuff is interesting to me. I've been a coin collector since I'm 10, so I'll let the kids worry about it one day when I'm gone, who's going to get what or what they're going to do with it. But I wouldn't mind owning it, but I have to buy it, at my value. Right. It's like I tell the guy, if I buy something like this for $35,000, well, I'd rather have 15 ounces of gold or 18 ounces of gold. What's easier to move?
Sure. I
mean, I could sell the gold in a blink. That's just where it is. Another thing I want to talk about is, what do you do when it's cold like this all over the country? When the snow is deep I get phone calls from people in Michigan, and it's 2 degrees and it's 7 inches of snow already. What are you collecting out there? Wheat pennies, foreign coins, all kinds of things. This is when I'm actually going to bring home my Canadian. I found this book I had in the back, and it's going to be a cold night tonight.
So what do you do when it's a cold night?
Well, I'm going to pull this out, and I got a whole bunch of these, what they call scales. These are the half dimes of Canada, and I'm going to put this much. I got a lot of these. I know I have quite a few of them, and I'm going to put together as much of this as I can. I think this is interesting, and like this, it's sellable. We had somebody. I've shown these books before. I had one of these books for Australian coins, and it was the large pennies, and it was like 1911 to 67. I think it was like $600 for the book. There were a few coins missing, but it was in a Dansko book, and a person offered us a price we couldn't turn down. He wanted the book. He didn't want the coins.
That's funny.
I think that's very interesting. I know we've been looking up some of the Dansko books. The nickel book for American Jefferson nickels, it's like $80 new.
Jeez.
$80.
Just for the book.
Just for the book.
Yeah.
I know the type coin book goes the same price for Dansko.
Yeah.
Now, this was a Dansko book, Australian pennies, but I have all the other Australian ones. I have the 6 pence, the half penny. They're all like news, about 5 of them to the set. I can give you a price for the empty book or the whole bunch of coins, whatever it works, but it's very interesting. And another thing, we didn't realize, getting back to the Civil War tokens, about the value of the book. Give me a sec.
Sure.
You've seen me show this book. Now, this is the book that I found the Civil War tokens in, right?
Yep.
Here's your Civil War tokens. Here's your scale. How many? Here's the book. This is a 2004 edition. This is the most modern edition you can get. How much is this book?
I don't know. How much?
Amazon, $625.
No way.
With no coins in it.
For a book?
$625. Used, $230. This book, like it is, $230.
Why?
Stunning.
Yeah. How'd you get it?
I picked it up out of an estate.
Lucky.
To be honest with you, this was on the shelf over
Jeez.
there up until when I bought this. I said, I know I had a 99 edition. And I came over there and I'm looking, here's one. And I realized this is an 04. This book is out of print. You can't find this book anymore. You know, this book isn't around anymore. So this is the most modern one that you can get.
Shoot.
It's 2004.
Take care of that book.
You know, it's like the, you know, it's like the Gutenberg Bible, I guess, of tokens. But it's, but I had it on the shelf over there for $20.
Oh, I missed an opportunity.
You missed an opportunity. And I'm glad I found it. Meanwhile, I've sold the 99 edition for $50.
That was on
But
the
the
shelf.
99 edition went for 100 used.
For $20.
But this was a good customer of mine who's been buying them. But
Since it was on the shelf for $20, you want to take 25 for it right now?
no, I'm keeping this. This is cool. Because, you know, this doesn't just have Civil War. This has the gay 90s. Here he is, gay 90s.
The what?
This stuff's cool.
I'm sorry. Can you say that? The what 90s?
The gay 90s. The happy 90s.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. When I was in 6th grade, they had this thing with the teacher, and it's like the opposite, well, male, boy and girls. Like, if the kid's name is Jack, a girl was Jane. And in my 6th grade class, I was Guy, and there was a girl named Gay, when gay meant happy.
Yeah.
So that's what
Well,
it
I've known
means
plenty of
by
guys
that.
named Gay.
Yeah, okay.
Marvin Gaye,
Okay.
you know?
Now, this is Trade Tokens Oregon, which is not Civil War tokens. Trade tokens will run through the 1900s.
That's a cool book. That's even cooler now that you told me what the price is.
But there's a lot in here.
Man, I missed out.
When you look at this, you realize how the wealth of knowledge.
Yeah,
Some outrageous stuff.
that's cool.
But I just thought I'd bring that up because it came to mind when I was showing you this. But I'm going to bring home my Canadians today. And it's going to be cold, so I can play with that.
That's a good idea.
In between cutting wood and I don't have a wood burning stove anymore.
Cutting feet? What?
Cutting wood and feeding the fire.
Don't cut feet.
Don't cut
Hey,
feet.
Guy, I had somebody ask me, they said, hey, you know, like a coin grab bag, right? Would you put anything like that together for people if they call in? Like, just like maybe some random coins you have around just so they can go through some stuff?
I've done that. We did that with that's what I'm saying, the unintended consequences of the COVID was where people were using the foreign coins to teach children.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great idea.
Sure.
And because I have so many Civil War tokens, I can throw a Civil War token or two into a grab bag. Give me an idea what you want. If you want type coins, modern, whatever you want, world coins, and we can throw something together. Like I was giving the ancients. We went through I bet you I gave away 40 ancients.
Yeah.
We went through a lot where I was putting in an ancient in any deal over 250. But we do that.
I think a little surprise bag would be fun for people, you know what I mean? Show the family, the kids a little bit, kind of get them into coins. That'd be kind of neat.
Kids have been getting in. Like I said, I think what's happening, a lot of people are sitting home and they're pulling out stuff they inherited. I mean, we have been very busy this week. We've been very busy, and unfortunately, Tara got COVID right after the last filming. She was out she only came back to work like Wednesday.
Yeah.
Telling you, running out of sick days, I told her. But
How's she doing now? She okay?
she's got a little cough, but it's basically, I think it's more sinuses than anything.
Yeah.
And
you and I talked. You know, that's why we haven't talked for a little bit, because I had COVID too. The whole family ran through it, and I was down for a day, and I'm back to it now. And it's been a while, so don't worry, everybody. I'm not going to give Guy COVID. You know what I mean?
Well, she's been hanging in tough. I mean, she was taking care of me and Susan, and when we had it, I really am surprised she even got it at all. I thought she was totally immune.
Yeah.
And then they tested the whole gang, and it was little guy and Nathan were negative, and then she was positive, and Lily was positive. And my granddaughter was hysterical 2 weeks ago when she had COVID. what this is playing with the young, she thought she was going to die.
That's so sad.
She was crying. She was so afraid she was going to die. Am I going to the hospital like Pop Pop?
Oh, jeez.
You know, this is what this whole thing is doing to a whole generation of children who go to school. If you're a 3 or 6-year-old, you might not know what your classmates look like in certain states. Because for 2 years you've been wearing masks.
It's heartbreaking.
And what it is, how are you, the formative years, you've got to read people's expressions to understand things. They wear a mask. I mean, if you come in with a mask and a gun, I know what your expression is.
Yes.
You know? But, you know, it's just a terrible thing, I want an accounting. But
I tell you what, you know, my kids had it, and I almost think it was kind of designed towards older people because they seem like they get it pretty bad. My kids were just, you know, unhappy for a day and then like playing like nothing happened the next day.
yeah.
I mean, it really doesn't mess with kids.
Lily was a little tired. She was running 100 fever, 101 fever.
Mine too, yeah.
A few days. And then she just, I mean, she was out on the soccer field with me today. It's like, I'm going too. She said, I'm out of here. She was freezing out there. It was windy. I was cold.
Yeah.
And I never really used to bother me, but I gotten older and it bothered me.
The coldness.
It did. It was
to the bone.
Cutting through me. But then again, what am I going to say? They got a blizzard in Boston. I mean, I think it's going to snow for, what are they talking about, 3 feet? They're talking crazy numbers for the Northeast.
Oh, I've seen people in their cars are completely covered to where you don't know it's a car anymore, and they're like, I got to get out there and shovel. I'm like, where do you start?
Yeah, I remember those days.
Really?
I remember when we were first married and we were in the apartment buildings up in North Babylon, Edmonton Gardens, and we got hit with the blizzard. Oh, God, see, that was April. It was probably the following year. It was in 78. Snowstorm, blizzard of 78 that winter. And I came out, my car was on the curb, it was buried. And I had to get to work. And luckily I didn't have to be in at 4 that day, but I had to be in like at 9. I walked up to Sunrise Highway, because I was right off of Deer Park Avenue, and I had a big sign, and it said hospital worker. And I got to work in 20 minutes.
Oh.
I had 2 4-wheel drives stopped. One took me halfway, the other guy took me right to the base of 110 Broadway and Sunrise Highway.
You did some hitchhiking.
And I hitched before, but that was the last time I hitched.
Hit me with your hitchhiking thumb.
But
Go ahead.
then again,
How does
I
that
was
work?
there. I was there for 3. I had to sleep there for 3 days because you couldn't go anywhere for a couple of days.
You're stuck there, yeah.
Yeah, and then I remember my wife was working at Good Sam. They sent an oil truck.
Good Sam, what is that?
Good Samaritan Hospital in
okay.
West Islip.
All right.
Where my wife was born, both my grandchildren were born there. Both my children were born there, and my wife, Good Samaritan. It's an institution in West Islip, still there. And they took her by truck, because she was a registered nurse, and they picked her up and they brought her there. But they don't bring you home. They bring you to work, but they don't bring you home.
Right, you can't.
You know, amazing. But I had to stay at the hospital for a couple of days. I mean, we stayed at the Brick, and where all the guys who didn't have apartments or homes, and there was a certain core people that lived there, and there was an empty room, and I used that room. But that was a different experience. Do what you got to do.
You know, somebody recently hit me with this question, and it kind of stunned me because I'm like, oh man, how do you pick? But you're a coin collector. You've been that way for most of your life, yeah?
Always, yeah.
Yeah. Your favorite coin that you currently own? That's a tough one, right?
Yeah, I've got a lot of favorites. My first, I like that early bust coins. I have some very rare coins. I like my 1794 halves. I just think it's so cool. Legend is it's the silverware of Paul Revere. That's what I've always heard. I tried to get a 1794 dollar since 1995. You could buy one then for $5,000, but a good now is $50,000, $60,000. Who knew?
Yeah.
I just couldn't get one. I would see them at shows, and they wanted twice what gray sheet was, and they were scratched and damaged. I guess it's sort of like when you're holding an ancient in your hand, and it's like, who held this before you? I just think it's so cool.
That's a tough question, I think, to your one favorite coin that you currently own.
The Walk in Liberty series was my favorite collecting.
You got a really nice graded one?
Yeah, not anymore, no.
You got rid
I
of
never held on to them. The only coins I really have in series is, for some reason, I have 2 complete sets of Barber halves. One set is like fine to very fine, and the other set is generic. It's like good to, good
That's
to
a cool
fine.
set. Wow, I didn't know that.
And they've jumped tremendously. If I'm looking at Gray Sheet,
Yeah.
they've doubled in value. The barbers have really moved. I had somebody in the other day looking to buy them, and I said, I've got rolls of very goods, VGs. I'll bet you I have 200 barber halves. 200. I probably have 400 barber halves.
That's cool. I got a decent amount,
and just
but
take them home.
they're probably not in the condition you have them as.
I've got some proofs. I've got some unks, but they're beautiful coins, but I put those away, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago, I bought them, collecting them for myself. I've bought and sold them over the years too, but the high grade ones, you don't see them. They don't come in over the counter. No, you do not see them. Certain, area people maybe see them, but not me.
I've been getting into the commemorative half dollars.
I have none.
Yeah, I saw that you're out of them.
God, I can't believe it. It's like I sold my 21 piece dollar this morning. I cannot keep 1921 piece dollars in the store.
Gone.
I mean, there was a time 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I'd have 12. Honestly, I'd have 12. But with the advent of 100 years, the commemorative series have come out, and people sitting home, like I said, they're pulling out books, things they inherited, the children are collecting pennies. It's been a boon. It's the unintended consequence. It's been a boon to what we do.
Yeah. The United States Mint, it seems like it's pretty weak this year on what they're coming out with. But
that's good.
2022
they make ridiculous amount of stuff.
2022 Morgans are coming out this year. What do you think about that? Now, we had the 100th year anniversary, but now we're going
Why?
the 100th one anniversary.
Why?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I think at one point it gets to be just too much. I mean, I remember, and I'm a collector and I love the hobby, but I remember one time where if you had $6 or $7 in your pocket, you could buy the proof set and the mint set and you're done.
Yeah.
Then you had the advent of silver and gold, and then the proof gold. Then there's the eagle, then the buffalo, then there's palladium, then there's platinum. What does one of everything cost now? 40,000?
That's ridiculous.
30, 40. Then they're coming out with all the commemoratives. I mean, I don't know. Does Amsterdam have a commemorative for the Tulip Mania of the 1670s? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, it's crazy stuff. Everything they got to find. They got to find a reason to commemorate everything.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the thing they're commemorating now is, because, again, it's 101 years now, so I don't know.
They just want to make it another series.
Yeah.
It's just...
They knew that the 2021s worked, and maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It's interesting.
From time to time, I see them in the store. They come and go.
Yeah.
But we got another year ahead of us. Let's hope it's a good year and a healthy year for everyone. It certainly started out as a cold. This is some of the coldest weather I've seen down here.
Yeah, it's global warming.
I'm here almost 17 years, yeah. I had a disagreement with my ex-dentist about that kind of stuff.
Global warming?
Yeah. Well, I don't, global warming wasn't really the issue, but,
Other political things.
Yeah. When you look at this weather now, but then again, this is just a cycle. My brother mentions global warming when he was in the middle of that debate. And he mentioned an interesting fact, something about when Jesus walked the earth, the world was 3 degrees warmer.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. He's a fact person, so he would have researched that. It's a cycle? I don't know. I heard of the mini ice age.
Did we have, historical temperatures at that point? I don't know.
Well, you had it depends on what happens in the world. When there were 50 million buffalo wandering the plains of the United States, giving off methane and feces and everything, how much pollutants were from that? When you had a huge fire in those days and the whole continents were covered in forests, no control of those fires, couldn't make fire breaks. They burned and burned and burned until next season. They probably burned for 2 months.
Sure.
Tremendous amount. When a good volcano explodes, look at, Timbara, the volcano in 1815 that exploded? That was the year without a summer. Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein that year. because it was snowing in England in July.
Jeez.
It was a miserable day. Her husband and the poet, they had a contest to write a horror story. And she wrote a little story called Frankenstein. This is back in 1815. And the rest is history, because it was so cold they couldn't play, or whatever the rich did in those days.
Yeah.
And but there was the year without there was famine around the world because of that.
That's crazy.
Because of all the pollutants in the air.
Wow.
You see that every now and then in smaller degrees. When Mount St. Helens exploded, or Krakatoa, there were things that happened. Now, I may not have every date right, I'm saying, but those things, I remember people commented about when I mentioned that, what was it, Port Royal in Jamaica was destroyed by a volcano. I meant an earthquake, but those fact checkers.
But regardless, it was destroyed.
And it was triple destroyed. It was a wrath of God.
Yeah.
We're talking volcano, we're talking earthquake, then we're talking where the ground became saturated with water and the buildings started to sink, and then there was a tsunami. So we're talking smite you.
Crazy.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Terrible.
But anyway.
Back to you having some silver in the store. Like we said, we saw silver prices come down. What does that do for a coin shop like you that buys it at a higher and now the price has come down?
Well,
what do you do?
You sit on it, or you find out what your competitors are doing, and you find out what the market will bear. But you see what you have now, like even with gold, the margins have not dropped a whole lot. It went up and down, now it's going back up again. I really believe that whole thing is orchestrated. I mean, a lot of these big brokerage houses were fined years ago. You find a big brokerage house, Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley, because they're manipulating silver, and you say, hey, we caught you, and we're going to fine you $50 million. Oh, we'll pay that. They made $3 billion. They'll pay a $50 million fine. I believe some of this is orchestrated. I mean, it was, like I said, I think it was a fundraiser for grandkids' trust funds.
Yeah.
Everything is getting more dicey out there. Look at Europe. Look at the, I wouldn't want to be living around the Pacific Rim and Japan and all of them.
Yep.
Certainly in Taiwan.
Have you seen Canada, the truckers kind of going on protest right now?
Yeah, good for them. They've got a weakling as a president or prime minister, whatever his title is. That's part of the problem. They look at Canada, they look at France, they look at the United States. Yeah. This is a perfect opportunity for the wolves of the world to come forward.
Yep.
There's just too much weakness in that. And you have to project strength. As I said, I mean, I've read The Art of War. I understand the concept. You've got to show, you got to project strength. Obviously, some people never read that book, and they're generals. And I don't know.
I think it's just interesting, it's not just the United States. The entire world is done with the shenanigans. You know what I mean?
It's all over the place. Even those people who voted certain people in have got to be looking at this and shaking their heads.
Oh, they are.
My God.
Yeah.
You're carrying on about the border of the Ukraine. What about our border?
Yep.
You get some guy who this is the last one who shot a couple of cops. Didn't he come in over the border? I mean, my God, you got no borders, you got no countries. You're worried about being, having to have a passport to get into a restaurant, and you have to show your COVID shot, but there's no COVID shots for crossing the Mexican border.
No.
I don't want to get political, but I'm annoyed.
Don't get political.
And,
we're not worried about our borders here, but we're willing to go to Ukraine with our troops to protect their borders.
Yeah, well, I think it's enough blood and treasure of our country.
Yeah.
Let Germany and France and England and the Ukraine people, how they feel about that, take care of themselves.
Right.
Guy, if somebody sees something that they do want, I always want to give your information on the description of the video. There is Coin Guy's phone number. Of course, I'll put that down in the description of the video too. That's actually me in the mirror right there.
And Valentine's Day's coming.
Oh, what'd you get me?
Get the loved one something. We sold a chain today.
You sold a chain?
It's getting to be that time.
We
sold quite a bit of jewelry.
I see a watch over there I might ask you about here. Maybe that's my Valentine's Day. Good.
Yeah, okay. I got the chocolates to get rid of for the kids. They go to Christian school, so they got to sell these chocolates. So Pop has to buy a box of 60 from each one of them. but I give away probably more than we sell. Between giving them to clients and eating them between Nathan and me, it's not good for me. So it's good chocolate, but
You know, I find a comment funny that I get once in a while from people that say that they were surprised that when they called up your shop, you answered. As if you're going to have a handler now and...
gonna answer. I don't. Let me say, I answer when I can, and I like talking to people, but don't call me at 2 a.m. Because then the wife gives me grief. I try to get to it when I can because we've been busy today all day. I didn't have lunch today. I'm going to be down to skin and bones again.
You're looking skinny too right now.
Nah.
I got to teach you how to silence your new phone there. You don't know how to do that yet.
Yeah.
At night,
my phone.
Yeah, at nighttime we got
I
to get
got
that
to
done.
wind up to find out how to get. When I redid, this is something I wanted to mention. See, you bring up topics for me.
Sorry.
I get the Wall Street Journal. Okay, I get the Wall Street Journal. I stopped getting it because I didn't want to pay $580 of subscription.
What?
$580 they wanted for
a
a
year?
yearly subscription.
Yikes.
And there's no Sunday edition.
No
And the
coupons.
problem now is I didn't mind 2 years ago when the paper came at 4:30 or 5 in the morning because I'm up at 6:30. So I would go out, get the paper, and I'd read to see what's happening in the world because a lot of the topics impact what we do. For instance, but now it's delivered by the mailman. And my mail doesn't come till 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon. That morning's topics by 4 in the afternoon are yesterday's history.
Yeah.
And just like I was reading in the paper 3 days ago about the mines in South Africa. And this is just before all the silver started popping last week, when it went up about $2 in the course of a few days. And gold did a big jump.
Right.
Because they're having tremendous strife in South Africa, where they have armed gangs attacking the mines. You can have 10 armed guards, but 27 guys attack it with machine guns.
Crazy.
They're having huge heists. There's like 20 of them in a year. And the mines are shutting down. People are walking away. Platinum, silver, gold. It's that kind of, but the point is that when I get the news at 4 in the afternoon, in the world of metals and finance, it doesn't work. It's not worth anything to me.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with that? There was another topic I got. I think I pulled that one.
I brought him some topics now.
Where is it?
Is that your topic corner right there?
I pulled it out. Yeah. Look at that.
Fed weighs possibility of issuing U.S. digital currency. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, see, this is different.
Fedcoin, they're calling it. I think.
That's a lot different than Bitcoin because it's going to be backed by the Fed.
Here's what I don't understand,
But then
right?
you have privacy issues.
We got to issue a digital currency, but we already have a digital currency basically when we use credit cards and everything like that.
Exactly.
What do we need a special, cryptocurrency? I don't understand.
Well, I guess if you want to buy a painting from an unknown artist for $75,000 or $100,000, you could just use digital. It's a lot easier than a bag of money. But then again, the digital can be traced, can it?
Yeah, I think that's what the Fed wants to do, right?
Well, no, it goes way beyond that. They want to know everything you do.
Yeah, they want to trace us.
Well, that's for
Yeah.
sure. That's why they want to get rid of money. They don't want to have money. Our grandchildren, great grandchildren, they're going to say, "What's collecting coins? What are coins? Those little bits of metal?"
And I think that the dollars actually say on there that it's intended for all debts, public and private, on there.
Yeah.
And they want to remove the whole privates thing out of there, don't they? They don't want us to be private about what we do.
It's crazy times. Let's hope some sanity comes back into the world.
To the whole world, yes.
To the whole world.
Absolutely.
To the whole world. Amen.
Guy, really appreciate you showing us around the shop and some topics you had. And tell you what, those nuggets are fantastic. I'm sorry you
I
don't want
thought
to
that
sell
was
them.
interesting. I thought about it now. I don't want to sell these. These are cool.
All right.
You might see me bopping this around.
I want to see you bopping it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, listen, let's do it again sometime, maybe sooner than later, since I'm COVID-free now.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some small ones, 20, 30-minute topic ones. Maybe we can do a question and answer one day if we can work. I don't know how to work that out, but
We'll figure it
you
out.
could work that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
You take care, everybody out there. Happy Valentine's Day. God bless America.
Appreciate you.
Stay warm.
Stay warm, guys.
Stay warm.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
you.